Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, y'all. Hello. This is the day that the Lord has made. We can choose to rejoice and be glad in it. I have some men joining my call. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all, men. My name is Montina, and this is a daily dose of inspiration for women, but you're welcome here. This is a safe space for men, too. But it's a place where women are doing the work. Yes, we are wives doing the work for our husbands. We are women over here that want to attract the love that they desire and deserve. And this is for women that want to get and stay married. So it's a safe space for women that love men. So we're not here talking nasty about y'all. We are not on this blue pill, red pill, purple pill, black pill, whatever pill it is. We're like, it's okay. There are some terrible women and terrible men in the world, but we're over here with resources and books to do the work. So if you come over to our space, just know that we're doing the work. Okay. Some of us really are doing the work. So I have like a little agenda here that I follow to stay on course and just keep it very, very practical. And today we're talking about some great things. But the reason why I created this live every day, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, is because I really believe that women need to understand how to work in marriage. Like we always hear about how much work is involved in marriage, but we never really hear about what we're supposed to do. Just work, just communicate. And that's just not enough, right? So older women aren't talking to us. People with 20 and 30-year marriages are divorcing. And, we just don't know what to do oftentimes. So 50% of first marriages end in divorce, 67% of second marriages end in divorce, 73% of third marriages end in divorce. And there's only about 5% of people literally on the planet that will get married three times. They're crazy, right? My husband and I are the crazy ones. So we both were in previous marriages and decided to get married again. And for the most part, our marriage is amazing. It's incredible. It's phenomenal. It's fireworks. It's love, love, love. We married. I was in my 40s. He was in his 50s. So now I'm going into my 50s. He's going into his 60s. And it's been a lot of fun. Yet we did have some challenges. And when the challenges came up, I was like, oh my God, like things that I just didn't anticipate, I didn't expect, I wasn't prepared to deal with. And it made me realize that if I don't make sure I'm very intentional about doing some additional work, this is not going to work for neither one of us. So, guess what? I decided to do more work. So, before I got married, I was doing work. I did listen to some Kevin Samuels. If you don't like him, chew the meat, spit out the bones. It's not for everybody to, has a very tough message and it's not for everybody. And then I realized that I just love my husband. I adore my husband. My husband does it for me, I do it for him. And I needed a safe space and a safe way to say, if I'm struggling and have challenges, and I talk to other women, 10 out of 10, I've yet to actually meet someone that's like, girl, I'm not going through something or have gone through something that was tough. Then 10 out of 10 times we're going to be what? Divorced or unhappy or miserable in a marriage. And men shouldn't be miserable in marriages, and neither should women. So, how do we get along together and make our marriages thrive? So, that's why I created this support group. There are support groups for divorcees, there are support groups for Alcoholics Anonymous, there are support groups for sex addictions, there are support groups for everybody except women that love being married. Isn't that crazy? There's nothing positive out here. And then if you find something like, I want to pray for you, I could pray for myself. You can pray for yourself. Actually, I don't even want people really praying for me. Like, you can pray for me if you want to, but I can pray for myself. I have a direct pipeline to God myself. Like, yep, I can call him up, right? So that's why I'm here. Okay. In marriage, 80% of the time, so think 30 days out of the month, 80% of the time, 24 days, it is like, oh, it's wonderful. I love you. I love you. But 20% of the time, 6 days out of the month, men oh pause. For my men that are on this, y'all are hard to get along with. You sometimes are. Y'all talk about us, but it's hard to get along with you sometimes too, right? So we struggle, and that's when you contemplate divorce or giving up or throwing the towel in and like it's over. But if we can learn how to get through those 6 days a month, which add up to 72 days a year, right? But the other on the opposite end, 24 days a month, you add all of that up and you have 264 days of the year that are, well, what would you choose, right? So when you hit the hard days, you're like, I can get through this. I want you to see, like one of my girlfriends told me one day, there's a rainbow at the end of this rainy day. There's a rainbow. It says things will come to an end. So with that said, I talk about power, and power does come from our words. So we go into a devotion called Battlefield of the Mind. Okay. And just what we talk, I didn't bring my glasses in here. Oh, I think I have some in my drawer. Let me see. Okay, it's okay, it's okay. Says things are hidden temporarily only as a means to revelation, for there is nothing hidden except to be revealed, nor is anything temporarily kept secret except in order that it may be made known. That's Mark 4:22. And she talks about this here about the word of God, and there's tremendous treasures and power life-giving secrets that God wants to reveal to us. They are manifested to those who meditate on, ponder, study, think about, practice mentally, and mutter the word of God or speak the word of God. And she just says, the Lord keeps revealing his secrets to those who are diligent about the word. Don't be the kind of person who always wants to live off someone else's revelation. So you're constantly listening to someone, but you don't have your own revelation. Study the word. Some of the books I'm going to mention, study the book, study men for my women, and for my men. Y'all hanging out with me today. Thank you. Study women. Like being here today says that you are like, hey, you need a pat on your back. Pat yourself on the back, because even being in a space where there's women and you're learning about women says that you are a pretty positive man. So, like, if I could take my hat off, I say, hats off to you. You're doing good. But study the word, study men, study women. And it says, allow the Spirit to bless your life with truth. Okay, so as we're studying, and this is just a quick devotion, the books that I'm going to bring along today are very specific. So I talk about the power that comes from different words. And for my single ladies, I talk about masculine energy, feminine energy. You need to understand, to my beautiful women, do you want to be the man in the relationship or the woman in terms of your energy? Masculine energy, feminine energy. There are traits to this. If you always want to be in control, if you're always talking about what you think, want, or need to do, if you're always doing, you're not being in your perfect, beautiful space. I'm a very productive person, but it's more of a being. My presence is the being. I've learned that through femininity. Read this book, Getting to I Do. Okay, Getting to I Do, the secret to doing relationships right. You cannot do relationships right with men if you don't understand who you are and what you bring as value to a relationship. So, Getting to I Do. And I love this because there's actually a checklist in the book, and it says, are you the woman that you think that you are? So she literally gives you a complete checklist, and try to find that in the book so that you can really identify what type of woman. So see here, are you the woman you think you are? Because these men, one thing about men is I read comments from men online, and they're not happy with a lot of the things that women are doing or the expectations women have of them. They are so unrealistic. And so to my men, I get it. You know, sometimes women do have unrealistic expectations, but we're doing the work over here because we want to understand you. We want to love you. We want to honor you. We want to respect you. We want to show up and be beautiful for you. We want to be kind to you. So I love my husband, and I want to recharge him, right? I want to make sure that I'm here for him and that I'm the best version of myself. Another one that has a checklist. Again, this comes from power, comes from reading books, okay? His needs, her needs, how to affair proof your marriage or building a marriage that lasts. And he has the 10 things that we need within our relationships. And he has checklists in the back. So again, resources. The other one that I had out here is a lot of individuals, some people have just had bad childhoods. I was one of them. I had a pretty bad childhood. My mother walked away. I've never met her. I'm almost 50 years old. I've never even seen her in person, never touched her. She left when I was about 18 months old, almost 2 years old. Then my father was incarcerated. He was in prison, but he was actually a good day out from prison. I talked to him. He wrote me letters, but that's not a good childhood. And then I had some struggles along the way, right? So there's a book. If you had some struggles in your childhood, only you know that. It's okay. Maybe, some women have been abused verbally, physically, sexually. Get that type of help that you need. And even my men, if you had maybe an overbearing mother or abusive father, y'all know, what's his name? He's the founder of CNN, and his childhood story. His book is this thick. I have to actually, I can't think of his name right now. But his father was so abusive because he was an alcoholic. So what I want to address is, if you had a bad childhood, you can still have a good life. Okay, bad childhood, good life. This is why I say, us women here for my men. I can't like look at the chat and talk to you all at the same time. So I kind of try to look and then come back. But that's why I say that we have to do the work. because I did not have a good childhood. So there are things that I've struggled with in my first and second marriages that I just didn't understand. And now in this marriage, I'll talk about some of that and why it's important. And then there's another book by Shahrazad Ali about understanding. Just they talk about black men, but you know what? It's just understanding men. And she has again things that you can look at and say, "Hey, am I doing these things? Okay, can I control my anger and I don't go wild when I'm angry? Do I take instructions or am I combative or am I respectful of men?" I'm very respectful of men. Men, I don't care if you're black, white, yellow, blue. It does not matter to me. I'm very respectful of men. And most men appreciate that. If a man tells me, "Oh my God, you're attractive," I say, "Thank you. I really appreciate that compliment." Or I'm not like, "I don't leave me alone." I'm very kind to men. She enjoys cooking or preparing special meals. She respects her parents and his parents and older people. She has good personal hygiene. She doesn't wear a ton of makeup. I like my lipstick, but I take really good care of my skin so I don't have to put on a lot of makeup. She's not a flagrant spender and manages good money. So again, I evaluate myself. Like I'm like, oh, let me see, am I these things? Am I doing these things? So again, there's power. I talked about setting boundaries, finding peace. A lot of us don't have good boundaries. You want to have good boundaries, okay? And they add peace. And I'm talking about boundaries. When you have little kids, it's easier to have boundaries because you tell them what to do. But when you have adults, okay, and I wish there was just a term for adult because they're not children, they're not kids, they're adults. My therapist helped me to understand they are adults, and adults make adult decisions. They're grown-ups, just like me and you. It's like I'm still their parent, but you have to train your mind to understand. I've had to set more boundaries with my adults, my adult children, because they're not kids anymore. And they've set boundaries with me. My kids are so amazing because there's things that they've had to say, "Hey, mom, no, no, no." Like, I'll listen, but I'm an adult. I can make decisions for myself. And I said, "Oh, okay, no problem." So make sure your kids have healthy boundaries. So, the power we're going to talk about today, we're going to go over a little bit, but I'm going to reference this book and I'm going to encourage all of you to get this book, whether you're single or married. And I always put it up here so you can screenshot it. But it's How to Improve Your Marriage Without Talking About It. And to my men, since y'all are here doing amazing work, read the books. Like I'm telling you, if she's reading the books and you're reading the books, oh my God, you guys are going to have a heaven on earth life. Or if you don't believe in heaven or hell, you are going to have an abundant life. You are going to have a thriving life. You know what comes along with a good life, a good marriage is good nookie nookie. We call it nookie nookie over here. Good intimacy, right? Good companionship, fun. You feel refreshed and recharged. My husband, I heard him tell my sister one day, he loves coming home. He loves coming home and he hates when I'm not here. Like he never told me that. But the fact that he loves to come home to me, I was like, wow. So this is something I use when I'm reading in the kitchen, or sometimes if you don't want to hold the books. I just thought I'd share that because I like to read. So we got a lot of work to do because y'all look, I got a lot of notes. That's my first page, my second page. So let's get through the notes. So we talk about the power. You have to read, in my opinion, I'm going to say have to. I suggest that you read things to empower yourself. There comes praise and worship for you every day, clapping your hands, praise people in your life for doing a good job. Meditate, God, let me see him how you see him. And I'm gonna tell you, I had my 6 days this month, y'all. Okay. I had to send a couple emails to some friends, like, oh my God, like people I'm super close to. I had to text my therapist can get me in. I had my 6 days, my menopause. I was like, oh my God. But you know what? They're done. My 6 days were done. You have to exercise humor. I practice what I preach over here. Okay. I do. I promise you, I do. It got to a point where I was just like, I had to hug my husband. And we had, a little situation and things. And life happens. And he kind of was like stiff. And I said, go on and give me a kiss. You want to give me a kiss? I want to hug you. And life, y'all. Okay. They deal with a lot out there that they never tell us about. But I have here, do you have a contingency plan? So we're going back into and make sure you pray. Pray before you say, sis. And again, emotional maturity, exercise humor, self-control. You all need to have high self-esteem, which is why I'm an advocate for exercising, being fit, looking your best, feeling good, eating good, reading a book. Do what you need to do. Recharge is so important. But here's the thing. So I used to work for the largest IT financial company in the country before I founded my own company. And, we did cybersecurity. So basically the financial banks, the institutions across the globe, were global, were my clients. So Bank of America was my last client. I was in the financial district up in San Francisco doing my last bit of business continuity work. So we had to always have contingency plans in place. If this, then that. So think about something or to happen at your workplace. They probably have a plan for you to exit a certain way. When I was little, we used to have tornado drills, so that's a contingency plan. So, Heather, what's your fight plan for your marriage? Basically, your contingency plan. Because sometimes you're in the valley, out the valley, looking over the valley. But when you're in the valley, you need to have a plan. You can't think. So, if you're here stateside in the United States of America, and I'm saying this here because I don't see it abroad as much. I'm going to be in India next month, so I don't see it as broad as much. We have lots of billboards. If you get hurt, call this number. If you get hurt, I mean, personal injury attorneys everywhere. The reason they do this is because when you are in a state of shock, you literally can't think. You shut down. You only have recall. You only have a recall memory. So when something happens, what can you do to recall the memory? And I'm telling y'all, I go through this too. So you have to have a fight plan. Daily reminders. No matter what, I'm very consistent in my relationship. I send my husband a picture of me every single day, or us. Every day I'm in the gym, I send a little sexy picture. And then throughout the day, midday, I'll send a picture of like us from vacation, something we've done. There are daily reminders in my refrigerator. I got these little magnet picture photo frames from Amazon. And literally, I'm looking at my refrigerator now. They're literally on our refrigerator. Pictures of us together, our family together, grandkids, kids. We're a blended family. So pictures. Other things for your relationship. What are you planning for? So I'm a coach for an entrepreneurship program, and I used to have to do an afternoon virtual session. I purchased two laptop stands so I could carry them and have them in the car. So I had them available. Hard days require extra effort. They do. That means that you want to make sure that you have your music going, you're dancing, you're going maybe twice to the gym. They do require a little bit extra effort. But if you're consistent with your rituals, your writing, your consistent text messages, I write my husband a note every single Monday through Friday, but typically every day. They're little post-it notes. Yesterday, I'll tell you, actually, because I don't want you to think I'm making any of this up. Here's one of my post-it notes. And I said, dinner was delicious. He cooks dinner on Sundays. Thank you. The backyard looks great because it did. And I just said, love you, Montina. Every day I'm writing him something, and I've done it for years. And you might think, what if I run out of something? Ask ChatGPT to give you a positive affirmation for your husband. I've done that before. So say something sexy. But again, you do you. What is your husband's love language primarily? Because most men are words of affirmation. I saw one here, one of the gentlemen from Sweden. He said, "You're so kind." Like I saw that. Like men like when we're nice to them. They like when we appreciate them. So put together a plan. I have here, you can journal. I journal every day. So when I was going through a few things, I went back in my journal and I recognized literally a year ago, around this time frame, we were going through some things. And there's a big date coming up that is a sad date for my husband. And I'm starting to recognize that now. So now I know I need to be a little softer, a little bit more considerate. I've never lost, well, I've lost a parent. My father passed, but I wasn't close enough that I can have the empathy probably required, or the compassion. I mean, death is not death to everybody. If you lost somebody super close, when I lost somebody super close, my aunt that helped raise me, it took me years to get out of the depression. So sometimes people deal with death differently. Make sure you're checking your feelings daily. Okay. Y'all, my feeling yesterday was hopeful. Okay. But I had some sad feelings in the past month. I had some exhausted feelings that overwhelmed. You could take a screenshot. See if they have this like on Amazon. But I check my feelings. So today I'm happy. I'm happy, but that's today. Yesterday I wasn't. Okay. Therapy, even if you can't get to a therapist or marriage counselor, try to make an appointment with them if you're going through some things. Do something fun. I like to step, and I can't make it to a party this weekend. I'm keeping my grandson. Yay. So, what I'll do instead is maybe go to a class. Do something fun. Do something that excites you, because when you're down in that valley, especially with the person that you love the most on this planet, beside your kids, it does hurt. It doesn't feel good. So, do something fun. And then here again, I might not get to my book, y'all. Think about your triggers. I actually today is like, I need to write this down because I understand what my triggers are as it relates to my husband and my marriage. And I'm just going to share a few. I actually only have a few. I hate the silent treatment. Like I can't do the silent treatment more than anything. It just, and here's why. Remember I said bad childhood. My grandmother used to do it, but she could go a month without speaking to people. I hate it. I don't have abandonment issues anymore, but my mother left. So for me, it triggers things inside of me of fear, anxiety, frustration. So my little inner girl, okay, the little girl inside of me, I'd say, hey, sissy, hey, little one, that's sissy, but hey, honey, you're okay. Loud voice. I can't, my husband is very masculine framed energy. He's a man's man. My husband can build a house, fix a car, and bake a sweet potato pie. Like he is a man's man, but he has this real gruffy voice. But when he raises a couple octaves, I get scared. He knows this. Hey, yeah, don't talk to me like that. I hate cussing when he cuss. My husband's a cusser, y'all. My husband could cuss. Okay, I don't know how they talk about these Navy men, sailor cuss like a sailor because he's from the Army, 21 years. But if we get into a heated thing and he says certain cuss word, like it is not no. I don't like criticism. Men hate criticism, mean text messages. So, he won't say anything to me now. Sometimes he's silent about it. And he'll send me his long paragraphs. I'm like, don't do that. And I've got to the point now where sometimes I just have to delete it without even reading it because I have to protect me, my heart. I always want to have an open heart towards my husband. And I put like loud, raunchy music. So my husband, again, I recognize these things. So if he does it, I'm like, okay, here's our menopause time. And again, recognize these things, sis. We have to say this is work for life. We signed up literally to work for life. This ring, we signed up to work for life, so we got to do the work. And that's what makes marriage so difficult because, like, you don't feel like you don't even want to go to a regular day job every day. I'm a full time entrepreneur, literally 10 years. I have not had to clock in and clock out, but I have clients. They want something from me every day. Y'all think entrepreneurship is easy. It is very, very difficult. But that's what it is in marriage. So, other things I have here in my notes, making it practical. Even if you were raised with a father in your home, I get a lot of women, my dad was this and that. Your dad, father or not, he was not your husband. So even though you can observe your father, you don't know what went on in that bedroom. You don't know the intimacy. You don't know the difficult times, even if you heard anything. So I do want you to just make sure you're studying men and be very realistic. Some of you do have unrealistic expectations of your husband and of men. I met a woman recently and she was like, I want this type of man. I said, you got to get what you qualify for. Okay. And it's different. That's why I talk about women over 40. Some of y'all, the things that you desire, you don't qualify for anymore. You got to get the best that you qualify for. I qualified for my husband. My husband qualified for me. But things change, sis. Okay. So you got to get the best. And so these are just things I wanted to share. I do want to share a couple things from this book because this book is, we are going to study this book. We're going to study this book. We are going to study this book. The worst thing a woman does to a man, remember, we're women over here that do the work, is shaming. On average, men have more physical strength than women. Okay, and he talks about this. We communicate well with our intimate partners when we feel connected and poorly when we don't. When you feel connected again, your desire to explore feelings with your partner will practically vanish. It's a great combination. He'll be able to do more of it. You'll want less of it and you'll meet in the middle. The bottom line is think connection, not communication. Then you won't shame him and he won't make you afraid, nor will he drive you away. Instead, he'll fall back in love with you long before you walk out the door. The silent male needs to feel connected to his life partner as much as she needs to feel connected to him. Remember, connected. I love this, connected. No, everybody say communicate, connect. But the expression of that need is different for each of them. He feels ashamed to tell her that her mere presence, y'all, I'm reading a book about this when I release it. Ooh, your mere presence, even in the next room, is soothing, stabilizing, and important to him. He is ashamed to tell her he can easily get overwhelmed by his emotions if she's too direct too quickly. In addition, he doesn't quite have the words to tell her that she makes his work, along with almost everything else in his life, more meaningful. He needs to understand that she does not try to hassle or nag him or point out his failings or impinge upon his privacy. Rather, she's trying to reconnect with him because he is important to her. They are important to each other, although their shame and fear might make them lose sight of how important. So he says in these next chapters, we'll consider what happens when neither you nor your partner realizes your enormous power to protect each other from your vulnerability to fear and shame. We'll go through this. The things that I like about these books that I read is they always give you kind of checklists. Okay, Candace, I got you. I got you, sis. So here she says, What are some of the ways I criticize or shame you? Because if you don't know, how can you correct something you don't know? Right? How can you correct something you don't know? So I exclude him from important decisions. I don't always give him a chance to help. And you either write true or false. Then at the end, you add it up. I correct things he says. I remember when I married my husband does, he does misuse, like he says things, and I know that it's wrong in context or wrong word or just, I mean, misspelling. It's actually kind of funny, but I never point it out. And one day he noticed it and he was like, my ex used to always, correct my words. I said, no, I don't do that. Not even in public. If it's wrong, it's just wrong. Who cares? It's not up to me to do that. You give unsolicited advice. You suggest how he should feel. You ignore his advice, imply he's inadequate in a certain area. You're often in a bad mood. You think he should at least match your use of time and energy. When he says you overreact, you think he just doesn't get it. You ignore his needs and think they're not important. You focus on what you don't have instead of what you do. She got a whole bunch here. And you total up the answers. You withhold praise because you think he doesn't really deserve it or you don't want him to get a big head. Men have egos. You're married. I'm so vulnerable in my marriage. My husband is actually even years in kind of really understanding. I mean, I treat my husband literally, I do my best like we're still dating, like we just met, like I would treat any, I don't want to say any man, like new. I'm flirting with him. I'm wearing sexy things. Did you like how this looks? Like I just do certain things that I did in the beginning, and I plan to do that work forever. I'm condescending to him. I undermine his wishes. I lack respect for his work. I show little interest in his interests. I criticize his family. I can't handle my feelings. I have a better way of doing things. Like we have to check ourselves. So, like I said, we're going to study this book. So, here's the book. Okay. I think this can improve any relationship. I read this book back in 2010. And I'll tell you, I was married to someone else. The funny thing is, my husband, our second marriages, we married the spouses the same month, same day, and our divorces were finalized. No, same month, same year. Our divorces were final the same day, same exact day, month, year, everything. That is so crazy. Like, now I don't think that it's because y'all were destined for each other. No, divorce is hard. It just kind of happened that way. But I read this and it did save me about 7 years in that marriage. So it did. It did work, and to the point where just it was, I didn't feel like doing the work anymore. Once you give up working, your marriage is going to be done. So with that said, I'm so off of my agenda. So again, praise, power, praise, prayer. I have to make it practical every single day. Sis, what's your plan? You have to have a fight plan. You know how they have a flight plan? Because when you get in the trenches, you got to come back up out. Understand your triggers. Why is it hurt you? So for me, I've had to say, hey, honey, that silent treatment, I had to tell them, look, I have some issues because my grandma used to do that growing up. Me. Now, my grandma and I are like the closest friends. She's 87, and we've talked about these things. And she knows she's apologized and said, certain things she's done, but life lifed for her too. She's twice widowed. Your hobbies make you happy. You need hobbies in your life. Okay. Self-care, self-maintenance. I got a hair appointment tomorrow. I love my self-care, but your self-maintenance is, get your nails, do something for yourself. It doesn't have to cost much, but women, you need that. You need that self-maintenance because that's part of being women. Like put your little earrings on every day, do your hair. I don't look crazy in the house. I just don't. I'm telling you, I don't. If I have to go take a shower and just put on my robe to walk around. Now, if y'all got kids and little kids, I get, don't do that. Well, may not be able to. And maybe have a longer robe. My grandma used to always wear like a kimono. She just always looked cute in the house. And I've heard people, I don't have to be on all the time. Okay, you do you, sis. You do you. All right. But I believe in just being, I don't always have on makeup. I'll maybe have my earrings on and, I got a cute little pair of slippers. You can put your little cute little tank top and things or nice, I'll buy these little cheap dresses sometimes when I go in the store that I'll just wear around the house, little, just something, but I'm cute. Because remember, he is physical. He likes your appearance. And especially if you work from home all day, you've been home all day caring for the kids, and just working from home, didn't feel like getting dressed up. Freshen up for him. Show him that he matters. When he walks in that door, you know, get your energy up. Hey, honey, hey, how was your day? I stop whatever I'm doing and greet my husband at the door. Even if I'm in a meeting, I say, excuse me for a second, my husband's walking in. If I'm on a phone call, I gotta go. My girlfriend the other day called me. I said, hey, my husband walked through the door. Before I could say, oh, I got to go, she hung up. So again, make sure he's that priority. So you need sister circles. I believe in unicorns and rainbows. We need each other. And there is so much going on in this world, or for women to be like, I don't have any female friends. When they say that, I look at them like, that's odd. That's not, you need a woman in your life and not super duper deep trauma bonding. Like I said, I did reach out to a close friend. I was like, hey, this stuff is going, girl, this is weird. And actually two, and it's funny, but like I said, we're not trauma bonding, and there's no shame, there's nothing there. And actually, it's cool because one of my friends like, I'm fighting for Mr. Superman. I'm fighting. Come on, Mr. Superman. So put on the whole armor, y'all. You ready? Ephesians 6:7. Put it on, put it on, put it on. Okay. Last thing, no weapon formed against you is going to prosper because the joy of the Lord is your strength. And actually, let me make sure I give y'all this direct scripture. I said, make sure I give y'all the direct scripture of the joy of the Lord is your strength. And there's something else I wanted to point out for you. It's in James, excuse me. James 1, chapter 1. Okay, so the joy of the Lord is your strength. So let me look at my comments real quick, make sure I answered all the questions. Thank y'all for being here. I'm running to a board meeting this morning. Make sure you're doing things in your community. Okay, Ben said he can't find a woman that isn't selfish. Ben, send her this live and tell her to come over here and talk about things. We don't want to be selfish. We want to love you. Okay, you deserve that. All right. Okay, awesome. Hey, Mons, he's in Sweden. I haven't been to Sweden. Oh, Ben said, see, men don't want to hear about like he had a soul crushing day. And I've heard of a lot of women cheating on men. So I hate that happened to you, Ben. Hey, Shawnee, Mac. Oh, Ben, we're gonna help you. Come over here. Come over here, hang out with us. Maybe there's single women in the chat, Ben. There's single women in the chat. Ooh, 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 ooh. All right. Hey, ya pa. I love you. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. The magnets are good. If you know me in real life, ping me and I'll send you a picture of our magnets on the fridge. Most of y'all seen them if you come to the house. Well, y'all seen them. Clishawn, you've seen them. Kai, you've been here. You've seen them. Candace, hey Candace. So thank y'all for being here, and thank you for all of our those of you that watch the replay. Thank you, Nehemiah 8:10. Okay, I was like, where is it at? We're studying Nehemiah in church, and we're studying James. And if y'all need anything, come to Cancun with us where I can get super duper deep. But y'all listen, our marriages, we can do this. And again, if you are dealing with a partner with NPD, you got to study and watch those videos. Surviving Narcissism, Dr. Ramani, go to the retreat in November. You got to study these men. It's just, it can't work. Like we study everything in life. We study everything. I have a whole book of agendas. I'm getting ready to go to a meeting right now. You got to do the work. That's what marriage is. But you have to work on everything in life. Okay. Y'all got this. Okay. Got to run. Have a great, wonderful rest of the day. Bye.